I think state-sponsored gambling is an essential corruption of democracy because it violates the most basic premises that make democracy unique, that you can be self-governing, you can be honest and open about your disagreements as well as your agreements, and that you trust other people, that you're in this together. That's what a compact of citizens is. State-sponsored gambling says that rather than face our issues and raise money together and everybody pay their fair share, we're going to get it by subterfuge and prey on the people who are foolish enough to think that they might get rich. And then the state will take a share of whatever's left over from all the other people involved in the gambling, whoever's running the machines and this, that, and the other. So in a sense, you're in the con artist business with the people who run the nation's casinos. And that ultimately, like a lot of efforts to get free money, will come undone. But before it comes undone, it has already eroded your sense of having a compact of citizens for the common good. You've already corroded that. And so in that sense, it's the forefront of corruption, of a very serious issue of how do we protect our freedom and pay for our patriotism.
And when it comes to sort of the famous rallying cry of taxation without representation, does this sort of fall under that for you, that people are being sort of taxed without their knowledge and exploited without their consent?
No one even knows who pays the money in state-sponsored gambling, who no one knows the people that sit there blindly and drop money into slot machines that go into the state coffers. And of course that's part of it, that you don't want to, but the sad thing is that there are millions of otherwise honest citizens who support this solely because they know they're not going to do it, and therefore that they can get somebody else to pay their taxes. And I'm saying to them, that may be an attractive idea for a time, but it will come back and haunt you in the long run because you've corrupted your whole system of government in order to get this blind benefit.
And what connection do you see or do you draw between, you know, your vast knowledge of the civil rights movement and this issue and this hopefully growing movement?
Civil rights, it's odd, you know, people ask me, what does civil rights have to do with this issue? The amazing, and they ask that more today than they used to because we've kind of distorted the civil rights movement. We look back on the 60s as a time of license and people running amok and demonstration and raising hell and all that sort of thing. If democracy is about self-government, disciplining yourself and building up public trust, the civil rights people were the epitome of that. Nobody was more self-disciplined than a freedom rider who was willing to look without violence into the face of somebody about to beat them and say, we can form a new bond of citizenship here even if I have to suffer to do it. So there's a tremendous sense of public trust and a tremendous sense of discipline at the heart of the civil rights movement. And it bore fruit and dividends for us still in new citizenship around the world. And it's that kind of honesty and integrity and common bonds that are so much being torn asunder by the cynicism of the state-sponsored gambling movement.
And last question, and this is not really a question, but if you could work in your phrase, you know, that this is playing the citizens for suckers, that what we're really doing is, you know, taking advantage of people. But it's a great phrase.
Since the founding fathers introduced the idea that we can be a democracy in the world, after 2,000 years when everybody thought it was impossible, because we can govern ourselves and we can build up public trust. And America has done a wonderful thing about it, job of doing just that. That compact of citizens, its first rule is that you do things for the common good, and the first step away from it is to play each other as for suckers. And that's what state-sponsored gambling does. It says somebody else is going to pay their taxes, not even realizing that that's what they're doing. We're going to trick them into thinking that they're going to get rich, and they're really going to be paying my taxes. So you are turning citizens against one another, playing one group of citizens off against another for suckers, and other people are coming out from under the table with a satchel of money. That is a very unattractive picture of American democracy.